Well, MLW is close and wrapping up as the Opera Cup tournament is in past their second semifinal match. We're getting close to the finals, and also mounting tensions between Alex Hammerstone and Contra Unit's latest member, Mads Krugger. NXT UK, as you know, A Kid addresses his biggest accomplishment winning the Heritage Cup. The NXT UK tag team titles are on the line by Gallup against The Hunt. Once again, 205 Live originals face off newcomers, as always. And as for New Japan Strong, well, we got members of Team Filthy facing off in either individual matches or tag team matches, but also Kenta put his IWGP United States contract briefcase on the line against Brody King. All of that will be discussed on this episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling from AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, many promotions, matches, wrestlers, and championships. I am your host, Jay, right here. Now, let's jump in with MLW's recent MLW fusion. It started out with Alicia waiting to talk to Richard Holiday and, of course, Alex Hammerstone. As you know, Hammerstone was supposed to be in the match against Mads Krugger, but it turns out it's not going to happen. But of course, Richard Holiday, who has this conspiracy theory against Alicia Atout, saying that she's out to get him. But however, the Sentai Death Squad were sent by Contra Unit to attack or Hammerstone and whoever is by his side, but they able to handle business. But however, Holiday is not concerned of that. He's more concerned about Alicia Atout, thinking that she's out to get him, even though she's not. She's just doing her job. But Holiday, he's such a prick who thinks that's always been like that for him. Now, the first match, we had a double header debut. We have LA Park Jr. If you guys know who he is the other son of the chairman himself, LA Park. He is making his debut. If you guys say, wait a minute, didn't we just see him in MLW? No, that is Hijo de LA Park, the other son. So there's two different sons who there. There's Hijo and there's Junior. So don't ask me why they do that, because that's how it is. If you have multiple kids, it gets a little complicated. Facing off against a protege of TJP named what's his name? Hold on. Yeah, Buku Dao. Now this is one of those interesting matches where you look at Buku Dao, who's the shortest guy, facing off a bigger opponent like LA Park Jr. But however, whenever Dao is thrown off the ring, he gets attacked by both LA Park and Hijo. But however, it was not enough. It was a surprising, shocking win to ever expect it. Now, for me as a fan, I've always suspected, oh, LA Park Jr. is going to win because, hey, we all know who he is. We know who his father, but however, not the case. Even both Hijo and LA Park are not too pleased that the match won in Dao's favor. But it is what it is. Now, for a while now, we were aware, like during the pandemic, what happened to a former member, Coda Brazil, or Codo Brazil. He was viciously attacked by Contra Unit and he was forced to retire. But Jordan Oliver hasn't forgotten. He even attacked Simon Gotch about a week or two ago during a match at the aftermath of the MLW Tag Team Championship match. but he did set out a match against a message to Simon Gotch of Contra Unit. So it looks like Jordan Oliver is looking for some payback, but however, there's an old saying, be careful what you wish for, kid, because Contra Unit, they don't take prisoners, they leave a lot of dead bodies around. Now, the next match was a handicap. It was Mads Krugger against these two other jobbers, Heavy and Starling. But as you know, Mads Krugger has been very impressive as a powerhouse, and he beat both of them. But however, in both matches, once again, the Sentai Death Squad shows up once more, putting these two men in body kit bags and covering the bodies with Contra Unit flags. So it looks like Contra Unit are out for vengeance, trying to stop MLW from having their freedom. But we'll see where they're going to go with this war between them. Now, as soon as this whole thing was over, we did not see this, did not broadcast it, but you could hear the noise. It feels like mountain tensions had broken down between both Mads Krugger and Alex Hammerstone. You couldn't hear it, but you can hear the noise, including Alicia Etude, who was giving an update what was going on. It was so interesting to see. I'm like, I can't wait to see what more is going to happen. I'm assuming that this match will take place in Kings of Colosseum next month. So we'll see where they're going to go. Now, as you know, Selena De La Renta has not been a happy camper, knowing that it was revealed that it was her who gave access to Contra Unit to enter the venues. But this time, her vengeance, she's bringing back someone who we are, if you're familiarized with or not, I'm talking about Lucha Underground's very own Mil Muertes. Yes, the same one from Lucha Underground. He is going to be making his appearance. Now, you probably ask yourself, wait a minute, I thought Lucha Underground is dead and all the characters are done. Yes, but however, there is some sort of agreement with the wrestlers if they want to continue using those names. But however, we'll see how that goes. But I'm very interested to see Mil Muertes make his debut in MLW. Now we get to the main event, which is the second semifinals of the Opera Cup tournament. Is Tom Lawler versus ACH. This was a really good match. I did enjoy it a lot. Not because Tom Lawler's a good heel, but the way they presented it. As you know, ACH, who had a bad problem with his former employers, I'm referring to WWE, now making a, he was supposed to retire, but now he's back. And Tom Lawler, who's this big time heel, who's trying to prove that violence is what MLW needs. However, that exactly what happened a bit. Tom Lawler wins the match, but however, post match, he made a very interesting statement saying that the Opera Cup is coming back, is going home to the Filthy team. So we'll see how that goes on the next week. I'm not sure when the finals. I hope the finals is next week, but we'll see where they're going to go with this. So let's move on to NXT UK and 205 Live. Okay, so let's start with NXT UK. First match of the night was Isla Dawn, the witch, the White Witch herself, versus the longest reigning NXT UK Women's Champion Kaylee Ray. This was a non-title match. Now, you can expect this type of match where you say, okay, Isla Dawn may have the advantage somehow, maybe to pick up a victory and probably get a opportunity of the title. But however, this match did not go exactly like that, but it was a good match. But it did allow Kaylee Ray to pick up the victory. But however, post match during a little promo, she addresses that she's well aware that many of the NXT UK women's roster is fighting amongst each other to see who will be the lucky recipient to face her. And she addressed that she is the longest reigning NXT UK women's champion. So basically, we have seen what's going on. So basically, at this point, we don't have a competitor who will step up. The last one we had was Piper Nivens, but however, she's addressing her little issue towards Ginny, and I'll get that in a little bit. Now, as you know, for all you guys out there, a while ago I talked about a wrestler who was recruited, signed by WWE. I'm talking about Ben Carter, who is one of the most very sensational high flyers we have seen. I've seen Ben Carter on the various occasions on GCW, Warriors Wrestling, and of course on two shows on AEW. Now, some of you guys are saying he could have gone with AEW. Why WWE? Well, he made that choice. So, but it turns out that he had trained with Seth Rollins. Um, in my opinion, he could be one exactly what WWE needs. But you know how that goes when it comes to the big boss himself, um, Vince McMahon. But we'll see how that goes. But I know that they better give him a good running. But I was surprised that he decided to go to NXT UK instead of NXT because he normally has been wrestling in the US. But I feel maybe that's where he wants to start. As you know, if you go to NXT UK, if you're for British, you know one day you'll be transferred to the actual NXT brand in Florida, which is a good thing. Now, in a while back, Ilya Dragunov has been feeling down since the loss that he lost to Walter in the for the NXT UK Championship. He was reflecting on everything, but he did stated that something has to change. And the biggest surprise was removing his contact lenses, which made him famous. So, what exactly change is he trying to do? You know, because we've seen wrestlers that go with a different storyline, like, oh, they're going to change to a different person or whatever it is. But I'm very interested in what they're going to do with Ilya Dragunov now that he took off his contacts. He may not be that same guy who is driven and determined to win a match. Now, the next match we had is a handicap match. We have Levi Mir and Jack Stars facing off against Saxon Huxley. Now, this match came across when Saxon Huxley attacked Levi and Jack because of comments they said to him a few weeks ago after Huxley lost his match against Rampage Brown. And this time, it was payback time. Now, I was a bit of surprised how both Stars and Mirror actually coexisted, despite the fact that they're only facing one lunatic, and I'm talking about Huxley. But they were able to beat him. But however, Huxley was not a happy camper that he lost. So he started beating both men down, but the one person who wasn't going to tolerate with his behavior, that is Dave Mastiff, he gave him a piece of his mind. He actually wanted to show him he's not messing around here. So he's one of those guys in the back that will make sure that everybody's taken care of. So that was a pretty good thing that happened. Now during the week, Piper Nivens had a little chit chat with Sid Scalia regarding a Piper Nivens getting in her head and her business. As always, she delivered a little package with a chair. As you know, it was Jenny who whacked Piper Nivens with the chair that cost her the opportunity to become NXT UK Women's Champion. So, what does that mean? Well, it did announced by Sid Scalia that there will be a match in 3 weeks' time that Piper Nivens will face Jenny in the match. For this time, this is for the number one contendership for facing Kaylee Ray for the NXT UK Women's Championship. So whoever wins will face her. This is something that Jenny wants. She is sick and tired of Piper Nivens. Piper Nivens is determined to fulfill her goal to win that championship. But who will get it? Well, we're going to see in the upcoming weeks. So let's see what happens then. Now, During the break, you see Rampage Brown, who's all smiles and happy what happened. He gave Dave Mastiff the compliment. Yeah, he's happy that Huxley finally someone shut him up. Rampage Brown did not appreciate what he was doing when he faced him, but I think he's proud that Mastiff took care of business. So that made me very interesting. Now let's jump in with A-Kid. As you know, he is the winner of the Heritage Cup tournament. He made it clear that he was proud that he was under the mentorship of Tyler Bate, one of the best wrestlers in the world, and not to mention facing him. But what he does next, he issued a challenge for the NXT UK Championship, Walter. Now, Walter, he is the kind of man who does not allow disrespect. He believes that A-Kid should have watched his mouth, what he says. But A-Kid has a lot of pride in him. He wants to prove that he belongs in the NXT UK ring. But however, Walter, he's the kind of man who will not tolerate those who disrespect the mat. He believes the mat is sacred, even if anybody who gets in his way. So, later on, it was announced by Sid Scalia that there is a match set between both A-Kid and Walter for the NXT UK Championship. This is going to be huge. I can't wait to see it. Now, there was a brief scene that took place in the backstage. Kenny Williams was announced he was hurt, but he was already set to be in a tag team competition with his longtime friend Amir Jordan, but appears that he's going to be out for a while, even though Amir Jordan and Kenny Williams were really interested in competing in tag teams, but this time Amir has to go solo for the time being, which hurts Kenny, but Amir feels like he can do this even if he's injured. But however, that's not the case. Now, we haven't seen Trent Seven for almost a couple weeks since his loss at the Heritage Cup against A-Kid, but he did reflect on what happened. He feels that he did not foresee the future of what A-Kid can deliver. Now, keep in mind, Trent Seven is a veteran. He has been around the wrestling business in the UK for a long time, and that's natural for wrestlers to feel that way. He feels that he needs to reinvent himself now. Now, he's not saying that this is the end of his career, but however, he's willing to determine to move forward, which is necessary that he needs to do at this point. So it's pretty interesting. Now, the next match I like to call it as a squash match. It's this guy named Josh Morrell, who's new at this, facing off against the latest star, Rampage Brown. And I can tell you, it's over, baby. Rampage Brown won the match, as always, because he is the biggest powerhouse ever. Now let's get to the main event. This is for the NXT UK Tag Team Championships. As you know, ever since Eddie Dennis aligned himself with The Hunt and The Hunt betrayed their closest friends, Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews, they made a play. They demanded that The Hunt get a shot of the tag team titles, which Scalia approved. Now, this match was pretty interesting because, A, you don't know what Eddie Dennis is capable of. He is determined to ensure that The Hunt actually wins the match. And they nearly did. Eddie Dennis got in the way, but however, he forgot Gallius has one more ace in the hole, and that hole was Joe Coffey, who is the leader of Gallus. He took out Eddie Dennis, but however, while the ref was being distracted, both Wild Boar and Primate of The Hunt were taken out by both their former friends, Webster and Andrews, allowing for Gallus to maintain the titles. And I have a feeling this rivalry between The Hunt and Morgan and Andrews is far from over. But however, post-match, after winning this match to retain the titles. Gallus were well aware that there will be others coming for the titles, and the team that responded to saying that they're next is none other than Pretty Deadly. So they made a statement saying they want a shot of those titles, but however, they were sneaked attacked uh, by Smith and Carter, and they just send them both to the wolves, to Gallus, laughing at them. As you know, Pretty Deadly always claim that they are the ones who deserve to become the NXT UK Tag Team Champions. But however, they should have known this was going to happen. So basically, we're going to have possibly another round out who is going to be the ones to face Gallus for the NXT UK Tag Team Championships. So now let's jump in with 205 Live. They only had 2 matches, so keeping them in the same thing. First match is a tag team action. We got Everrise versus Bollywood Boys. Now, Everrise has been running their mouth saying that Everrise rules, even using tactics, cheating their way through, even though felt like they're being disrespected, not recognized as a solid tag team, which they have been for a while. But however, they nearly could have lost if it wasn't for Bollywood Boys, one of them using the camera to knock them out, but it did not work. It did allow Everrise to win the match, which was interesting. Do we see them getting a shot of the tag team titles in NXT? Possibly. But you probably ask yourself, why can't we see cruiserweight tag team titles? Well, that has been done before in WCW. I doubt WWE has an interest in them. Now let's get to the main event of the 205 Live. We have the premier athlete Tony Nese versus Jake Atlas. Now, Jake Atlas has been determined to show that he belongs in NXT UK for a long time. I mean, NXT. But this time, he has proven time and time again. Now, he's facing off against a 205 original, a guy who feels he was not going to tolerate anybody new taking their spot. But however, he did have a little backup. That's Arya Davari. It wasn't enough, but it did show Jake Atlas winning the match. Now, I am a fan of Jake Atlas because I heard his name many times over in the independent scenes. I would love to see him face for the NXT Cruiserweight title against Santos Escobar, but this time, him winning it. So, I think that's it for now. I got for both NXT UK and 205 Live. So, let's jump in with New Japan Strong Detonation. Alright, so New Japan Strong has their latest event, the part 2 of Detonation. So let's get started with every match they have. First match of the night is Danny Limelight versus Rocky Romero. Now, this has become a rivalry between the two of them. Earlier, since New Japan Strong first started out, Rocky Romero had his eyes set on Danny Limelight to take him under his wing. But however, he betrayed him, decided to side with Tom Lawler and the rest of Team Filthy. Much of the match it did make sense about something that Alex Kozlov did said, and it kind of made a valid point, like in the story wise, like saying he might not have been a nice guy, he just took advantage of Rocky, and maybe that's what happened. But there are moments where Danny nearly tried to beat him for this match, but however, how much strength and willpower does Rocky Romero have against an up and comer? Well, the answer to that, he still had enough, and he was able to apply the armbar to make Danny Limelight tap. Now the question is this is gonna be ending between two, or is it gonna continue on? We just gotta wait and see what happens. The next match, we have another member of Team Filthy, Russ Taylor, who also is in NXT UK, but this is before he actually signed up with them, facing off against Jeff Cobb. Now, this was another interesting match because of 2 reasons. One, you look at Russ Tyler, he is also a submission specialist. But however you facing off a B, however you face Jeff Cobb, who is a powerhouse. Now, what is the difference between these 2 matches? Well, you don't know who would win. who has the capability of taking up a victory in this match. A guy who's good with submissions or one who's good throwing, who's being a power guy. That's always been a good match to watch. But was Jeff Cobb successful to apply the Tour of the Islands finisher on Russ Taylor? Well, answer to that is yes. So he won this match. So that means Tim Filthy lost another match in this particular one. The next match was a very interesting one for me. It's JR Kratos teaming with Tom Lawler, facing off against Fred Rouser and PJ Black. But the reason I say this is interesting now, if you guys know who Fred Rouser and PJ Black are, Fred Rouser was known as Darren Young back in WWE, and PJ Black known as Justin Gabriel. And those two guys were, in fact, part of the stable faction, the most feared one, the Nexus. And I feel like this was more of a so called Nexus reunion, which I liked. It's so good to see because it shows like these two guys are familiarized with each other. They've known each other for a long time. It's a great reunion. I feel like those two should be in tag team competition, not of because I say so, because why not? They know each other, but we'll just wait and see what happens. But the match was unbelievable. Now you may never know how this is gonna play out because a team Lawler will find a way to sneak a victory, even if he has his other filthy team members trying to win this match or help them out. But in this case, it did not happen. I was I was surprised how that ended, where PJ Black applied the 450 springboard splash on JR Kratos, picking up the victory. So basically, Team Filthy lost all of their matches, which is good, but however, is this the last of them? The answer to that, we'll just wait and see the following week. Now let's get to the main event, which is for the briefcase that contains the contract for the IWGP United States Championship that could take place at Wrestle Kingdom. Kenta has to put on the line against a guy like Brody King. Like, this was a huge opportunity for Brody King to win this title. Not because it's the briefcase. How many would love to go to Wrestle Kingdom? But however, it's Kenta who has to fight for it to keep it because he has one goal in mind, not to have the title around his waist, is to beat up the most dangerous, the most toughest SOB in the wrestling game. I'm talking about Jon Moxley. That's what he wants. He doesn't care about the title if he wants it, if he wins it. All he cares about is beating the toughest dudes on the planet. So far, we haven't seen Moxley appear. Now, you ask yourselves, wait a minute, why can't he appear in New Japan Strong for a while if they were unable? Well, there's a reason to that. Jon Moxley signed an exclusive deal. He can only be seen on TV in the U.S. when AEW. Any other place? No. But you're saying, but he's on Live the Man. That is true. But maybe there's a way around it. We're not sure. But the match was great. I did enjoy seeing Brody King facing Kenta. But however, Kenta may be one of the most strongest individuals to win this match. But it doesn't go with him trying to cheat his way through, which he did by knocking out the referee, using Brody King to do that, trying to apply the briefcase, then kick him in the groin and allowing himself to win. But however, he did call out Jon Moxley in post-match, saying that he is not going to wait. He wants an answer. But the real question is, will Moxley respond? We just got to wait and see what happens in the upcoming weeks for this. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this episode. The next episode, I will talk about Ring of Honor's latest pay-per-view, Final Battle, and I'll probably do that all by itself. And I'll probably, if there's anything else, I'll just throw it in. But however, keep in mind, just a friendly reminder for all of you guys for the upcoming AEW Dynamite shows. They'll be running after the NBA games and all this and that. Hope you guys remember that. Uh, I will follow the upcoming New Japan shows that it will have the road to Tokyo Dome. So that is coming up too because we're getting close to Wrestle Kingdom. It's in January 4th and January 5th. This is gonna be one hell of a match to watch, hell of a show to watch. So I think I must bid all of you guys adieu. So goodbye, mwah, and have a nice day. Bang.